Coming up here on today's show, has Ryan Poles learned his lesson? I thought he said some pretty revealing things on Wednesday when he talked about the Bears trade deadline process. He also gave some thoughts on the newest member of the Bears, Tryon-Shoyinka. So we get into all that next here on Chicago Bears Now. I'm Harrison Graham, and you are watching Chicago Bears Now. Ryan Poles spoke to the media the day after the trade deadline, talked about the Bears trade deadline approach and how that collaboration went, and the newest member of the Bears, Tryon-Shoyinka. So I wanted to react to that and kind of give some of my thoughts here on today's show. We'll start with just kind of the overall approach to the deadline and their pursuit of a pass rusher. He was straight up asked, did you guys look into a guy like Max Crosby? Here's what he had to say. He said, quote, "All I could say is we made calls across the league, and I checked up on all the guys you would imagine just to see the availability. You get different answers. We turned pretty much every stone to find those answers. And then, the timing worked out where we got the extra week to see Austin Booker get going again, and I think it reminded us back to the momentum he had going in the preseason. You saw those flashes, and we expect those to continue to come." I think it's pretty clear they sniffed around. They probably called the Raiders. Hey, is Max available? If he is, what would it cost? Hey, Cincinnati, what would it cost for a Trey Hendrickson? It's well reported and documented that they tried to trade for Jermaine Johnson with the Jets. The Jets wanted a second-round pick. The Bears, I was told, wouldn't go higher than a third. I think that's smart. I think a third, honestly, would have been a slight overpay. I would have accepted it because it felt like a strong seller's market where sellers could get, $1.25, $1.50 on the dollar for certain trades. I mean, that Sauce Gardner trade, I still can't get over. To get 2 ones and a talented young receiver for Sauce Gardner, I think, is a huge win for the Jets. And they asked for a 2 for Jermaine Johnson. He tore his Achilles last year. I'm not giving a 2 for Jermaine Johnson. So I do think they probably called for all these guys, and the value just didn't make sense. I think that's good business by the Chicago Bears. You're doing your job, doing your due diligence, seeing what's out there, but also recognizing, hey, we're not going to bend an arm and a leg to get Jermaine Johnson. We'll give you a third-round pick. That's a good offer, New York. Take it or leave it. They left it. So that's how these things go sometimes. However, do you wish the Bears would have been more aggressive? You can type Y for yes, you do, or you can type N for no on that one. All right, part 2 here. Ben Johnson and Dennis Allen's influence with Ryan Poles during the trade deadline. I think it's pretty clear this was a team effort. I think in the past he might have pulled the trigger and overpaid on one of those moves just to kind of, feel the excitement like, oh, let's get that pass rusher. It could really help. And don't get me wrong, Jermaine Johnson would help, but the value has to make sense as well. Poles admitted that both Johnson and Allen reminded him of the big picture. He said the process was outstanding. Our staff did a great job really identifying who was available across the league. Was able to sit down with Johnson over the last few weeks and just kind of talk about those situations, the impact it would have on our football team, not only now but also in the future. A lot of times you get into those moments and you get tunnel vision about, right now, what do I need to do? His ability, talking about Ben Johnson, to see the short term and the long term, and for us to have those conversations as a front office person, it's really awesome to have. Not only him, but also Dennis Allen, too, who has been in that chair. I think, and we've seen breadcrumbs of this, and, it's beyond breadcrumbs at this point, Ben Johnson has a lot of influence here. Look, if Ryan Poles wanted to make a trade, do I think he could have just overridden Ben Johnson? Sure, but I think Ben Johnson, who's making $13 million per year, has a lot of influence and has a lot to say. Hey, Ryan, does it really make sense to trade a second and a fourth for Trey Hendrickson? Does it make sense to give the Jets Jermaine Johnson? I don't know that it does. The reality is the Bears, while they're this fun, exciting team, I'll say dangerous team if a lot of things go right, they're probably not a Super Bowl team this year. A lot would have to go right. So let's stay the course. Hey, we're winning games. We're finding a way. Young guys are developing. Let's stay the course. If the Bears have this nice run, maybe win a playoff game, maybe in the offseason you revisit one of those players who's under contract with another team. But the reality is you're not in a position to massively overpay right now. And based on the market at the trade deadline, that's what you would have had to do. A second for Jermaine Johnson. A week ago, I was saying, I think a fourth for Jermaine would be a fair offer, and that's something I would do. A second, I even came around to a third based on some of the other trades I was seeing, but I can't blame the Bears for not going that route. And I think Ryan Poles, maybe he's learned a lesson, found a balance. Like, hey, yeah, I'm not going to trade a high second-round pick for Chase Claypool just because I want to help Justin Fields. Like, it has to make sense. That was that they forced the issue at the time. I understood why they did it. Blew up in their face. This time around, hey, we're not going to trade a guy we probably have a fourth-round value on, third at best, and give a second-rounder for Jermaine. It does not make sense. All right, more to come here on Chicago Bears now. But first, got to tell you about our awesome sponsor. That is Prize Picks. Daily fantasy made easy at prizepicks.com/CLNS. The hard-hitting football action is even better with Prize Picks. The weather might be changing, but the feeling of being right never gets old. So keep the season rolling on Prize Picks by getting $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5 on Prize Picks. Prize Picks is very simple. The way it works is as follows. You pick two or more players, take more or less in their stat projections. You're talking passing yards, rushing yards, receiving yards, touchdowns, points, rebounds, assists in basketball, goals in hockey, and a whole lot more in other sports too. On Prize Picks, how you play is up to you. If you want flexibility, choose Flex Play, where you can get paid even if one of your picks misses. And if you want the biggest payouts, go with the Power Play route. No matter your play, Prize Picks is a great way to put your takes to the test. I went with the two-player power play here. Very simple. More on Caleb Williams and Jackson Dart's passing yards. 227.5 for Caleb, 199.5 for Dart. $20 entry to win $55. I like both quarterbacks to put up some numbers this week. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use our code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. Poles obviously did sound off on the move they did make as well. That is trading for Joe Tryon-Shoyinka in a classic pick swap, 6th for a 7th. Here is Poles on that. He said, excited about the player, real athletic, someone that we really liked coming out in the draft as well. That's when he would have been back in the Chiefs front office. I think he can help us. He didn't get a lot of time in Cleveland, but the tape that you saw, there was a lot of traits to help us both in the run game and the pass game. Love the effort and the motor, the range that he has. He's reliable, dependable. Unfortunately, we lost Dio, so Tryon-Shoyinka will step in and get going. I do like that he said reliable and dependable. What he means by that is they need healthy bodies. He's missed 2 games in 4+ years. This is his 5th year, 2 games. So for a trenches player, that's pretty impressive. And I keep going back to this. I don't know why the fit wasn't there in Cleveland. He had 15 sacks his first 4 years in Tampa. That's like solid backup rotation edge rusher. He's a pretty decent run defender, edge setter guy as well. I think my expectation is provide what Dom Rob's been providing this year. Be solid in the run game, high motor, and flash every once in a while as a pass rusher. If you do that, that trade's worth it. I mean, you only move down around essentially. It's, nothing that happened in that trade is going to be catastrophic either way you break it down. I do think he fits the Dennis Allen mold. It sounds like he's going to play some this weekend. Obviously, Robinson is still dealing with that ankle injury. Dio and Turner are out for the year. So I am glad that they had to do something. They got someone on board who can help, even if it is more of a minor role. And my final thought here, and he kind of alluded to it earlier with the Austin Booker having a big game last week and really showing a lot in the preseason, is they're kind of giving Austin Booker an opportunity. Like, hey, man, we traded back into the draft last year. You were raw, but high upside type of player. Had a really good camp in preseason this year. Had the knee injury. Now you're back and healthy. Made a huge play by bull rushing Orlando Brown and getting that strip sack. Like, larger role now. He's going to start. He is starting opposite of Montez Sweat, especially on pass rushing downs. He's going to be out there consistently. What do you got? This is a 9-game, and if you had last week, a 10-game run here. Like, who knows? Maybe he's a starter in this league. So I'm fascinated to see how he plays. He's going to get a lot of opportunities, and if he's even just like a really good pass rushing specialist, like that would be a huge win for the Bears. Liked what I saw last week. We'll see if he can keep it up, and he's clearly going to get the opportunity to, because you don't have a lot of options that are just like, let's put him in there instead. Like maybe when Dom Rob's back, if Booker's struggling, he would start over Booker, but I expect Booker to start the rest of the way, barring something unforeseen. How many sacks will Austin Booker have the rest of the season? Got 9 games left here. I mean, if he can give you a sack every other game, you got 9 games left, 4 more sacks, that'd be 5 sacks in 10 games. Like, I think you would take that based on what this pass rush has looked like so far this year. That's going to do it for this episode of Chicago Bears Now. Appreciate everybody who watched any part of this video, but certainly if you're still watching, you made it to the end. We appreciate it very much. Hit that subscribe button, and as always, bear down.